Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with might, a golden octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like a golden octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live from the Golden Octagon Studios in Norfolk, Virginia. This is the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D. Rose.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boys, Matt and D. Rose, right over here on the other side of your screen. As always, D. Rose, I just looking down at your little picture down there, seeing you crack up at the intro, dude.
I do always love laughing at it. I do. I laugh at it every single time.
Just so funny. But tonight we are here to find out, to talk about for this upcoming weekend, who is indeed the most handsome strawweight in the UFC. Is it Amanda Lemos or is it Verna Jandiroba? We're going to find out this weekend. But before we get into that, we do have some UFC news to talk about. And me and D-Rose will probably recap Denver real quick. But before we do all of that, D-Rose, let the people know pretty much how you've been since we last saw you this past Saturday. Did you have fun with the content over the past week? And how was your drive home and all that? You know, are you good to be back? Glad to be back to normal now.
We had a blast. Even though with as much as it rained up there, that was actually a big surprise to us. That it was like, is it going to rain every single day that we're going to be up here? But we were able to at least make the most of it, still able to get at least a couple hours of beach time, every time we were out, and definitely spent more money than I wanted to. Even though we had a vacation budget set aside, it was just, man, it was tough seeing that go. But ate some really good food. Did a lot of shopping, and enjoyed doing the live broadcast as well, or not the broadcast, but the simulcast, I guess you can say. That we were doing. I love being able to do those, and that's why I even tossed up the idea to the chat, as well, saying, hey, what do you guys think about it? Because I would, that would be something maybe for like pay-per-views or something like that. Maybe like the main card, we could do something like that maybe going forward, because I do enjoy watching the fights with you.
Hell yeah, man. It was always super fun. That drive home is always an ass though, dude. And I couldn't imagine having two kids like in the car asking if they're there yet, like acting like a 5-hour drive is like 2 days.
And having to stop multiple times too, because my 2-year-old, we're still in the process of potty training. So so having to stop and having to change her diaper every once in a while, having to stop, maybe grab some food or something like that, and just keep on going. But I'm not gonna lie, I actually had to have a couple bathroom stops myself because I drank a little bit too much coffee trying to get wired up on the drive. So Papa had to make a few stops himself.
Yeah, that drive, dude, it's not the best, dude. And there's multiple times I've been there and back in like one day, and then I'm just like, why do I do that? Why do I do that to myself, dude?
That's just torture, dude.
Yeah.
That's why the last time we came down here, I was like, dude, you have to stay down here. Like, there's no way you can like make that drive down here and come back. Like, at least just crash here for a few hours and then leave in the morning. But yeah, doing that one day, that's brutal, because doing it in a week's apart time. It's still rough. I dread looking forward to that drive back every time, because traffic is always a pain in the ass, dude. I swear.
Yeah, but me and D Rose will get one of these fight companions done like this right here. One of these days, one of the bigger pay-per-views, or maybe even the next pay-per-view. But with that being said, aside from you being down here with your family and all that, how did you do betting wise this past weekend, D Rose?
Yeah, I
Same,
came up
dude.
with a big
Same.
I came up with a big fat 0. I even went back and I deposited like 10, and then I put like another 5 in there just to try to like hit like a little parlay. And every single time I was like,
me too.
But after I deposited $15 back and I lost it, I said, you know what? Just take my L's. I'll deposit my 25, $30 in this week, and I'll try to flip that to a little bit more. But yeah, I just took my L last week and kept it moving. I was I couldn't pick my nose last week, man. It was rough.
Yeah, I tried to chase a few times, as you know, and it did not work out for the best. But let's not waste too much time, D Rose. Let's get into the chat real quick. We got Austin in here. Happy Wednesday, everyone. The anticipation for this weekend's card is indescribable. Well, that's a $5 word there, Austin, and I would have to agree. It's what can you even say? It's like, who is going to be the most handsome? We'll have to find out. It's going to be a great card with the Wandering Eye headlining. The only card can only get better after this past weekend. Yeah, I feel you, Tim. I feel you. Last weekend was rough for me betting wise. I got way too cute with method of victories in my money line. Back to money line short parlays. Yeah. That's me. I always get way too cute every weekend. I'm like, why do I do that to myself? I'm not wrong on like the fighter, just the method, and I'm an idiot too. That's what happens when you try to win $1 million instead of just making smart, safe plays.
Build, man.
A little bit more on it. Yeah, I don't know. We got Daniel.
There's nothing wrong with it.
With the LFG. We got Tim. That would be a great that would be great on PvP nights. Hell yeah. That's what we're planning to do, Tim. Austin saying agreed. And we got Drew with the sup, boys. What's up, Drew? Thanks for stopping by tonight and saying what's up. So with that being said, let's go ahead and recap UFC Denver, or what there was to recap. Me and you watched this card together, so me and you saw all of these fights together for the most part. So main event, the highlight of the night was basically Rose punching Tracy Cortez's eyelash off. That was hilarious for the most part, Shout out the other eyelash for staying on the whole fight, by the way. But yeah, Rose was just way too quick for Tracy. At least the first 3 rounds, dude. She basically looked like Rob Whittaker, just in and out, just couldn't be touched. Tracy maybe stepped on the gas a little bit round 4 and 5, maybe one round 5, but pretty clean decision win for Rose, in my opinion. Co-main event should not have been the co-main event. What are we doing here? But it is what it is. Santiago versus Muslim Salikov. I personally thought Santiago win. And D Rose, there are multiple people pointing out that when the line closed for this fight, it was like minus 2,800 for Santiago Ponzinibbio. So a lot of people were also on the Santiago side. It wasn't just me or us, dude. So yeah, anyway, Drew Dober, Gene Silva, dude. Gene Silva's a problem, man. Especially when he goes back down to 145 now, dude. Who's a good fight for Gene Silva off the top, dude? Who did I say? I could have swore I said someone damn, that would be a good fight. But Gene Silva 145 right now. I don't know.
Honestly, you can match him up. You can match him up against just about anybody at this point, and I think it'd be a fire matchup.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back to it. Gabriel Bonfim, Angelusa. Gabriel Bonfim wins via decision, and I didn't bet him via decision, even though right here 1 week ago, sitting right beside me, I told you I think Gabriel Bonfim probably going to win this fight, or actually a week in 1 day. I told you Gabriel Bonfim probably going to win this fight via decision because, maybe he wants to see what his gas tank's like. And Angelusa never been finished. And, the more the week went on, the more I looked into it, I was like, Gabriel Bonfim probably going to finish Angelusa. So I bet Gabriel Bonfim finish and end up
losing all of those bets because I'm an idiot and let other people talk me out of my original play, dude. Juicy J versus C-Rod, Change of Cheddar Friday. This is one that I was like, dude, Juicy J can lock up these subs and turn down these contenders. And did I bet it? Nope. I bet Juicy J via decision, dude, like an idiot, man. Yeah. Aside from that, Abdul Razak Al Hassan and Cody Brundage, that fight apparently didn't happen. So we don't even got to talk about it, dude. Charles Johnson versus Josh Van, dude. Charles Johnson with the 3rd round knockout, man. Had this to start round 3 in most of my parlays, but I had Charles Johnson decision in a lot and pretty much lost those as well. Jazz versus Fatima Klein. Jazz looked good. It pretty much the fight went how I expected it to go. Jazz via decision was one of my 2 biggest plays on the card. The other one being Santiago Ponzinibbio. Jazz comes through for me. This one right here broke a lot of my parlays. Montel Jackson versus Damon Blackshear, and yeah. Round 1 knockout for Montel Jackson. 18 seconds into the fight over Damon Blackshear. Luana Santos, Maria Gafova. I mean, if you didn't bet this, you should have. Luana Santos, round 1 sub. I just refuse to go against my girl, the Demon Slayer, Maria Agapova. We got Josh Friend versus Andre Petrovsky. Yeah, I went back and forth in this fight all week. It ended up being Andre Petrovsky via decision. I thought he was going to get the sub a few times there. But yeah, and then we got Evan Elder versus Darius Flowers, where it was a round 2 submission. But we didn't really talk about that too much because it didn't even get added until Wednesday. Is there anything that you would like to talk about on the card, or anything I didn't touch on that you would like to talk about? Go for it, D-Rose.
I mean, yeah, you obviously you hit everything well. Yeah, I think for the main event, I think maybe just too big of a step up for Tracy Cortez. I mean, I personally thought that Tracy Cortez won round 4 and 5. I do think that I thought Rose got a little bit comfortable with the lead that she had, and then she ended up kind of letting her foot off the gas in those last 2 rounds. I mean, she did drop Tracy Cortez. She took her down. Tracy Cortez was having a tough time, marching her down and, landing some punches on her. So, Rose is bouncing in and out and looked good for the first 3 rounds, but she just hasn't been, I guess Rose just hasn't wowed me yet at 125. So I guess that's just kind of what's been making me hesitate to, I guess kind of say that she's ready for a title fight just yet, because she hasn't really done anything to, I mean, she's won, against Hebos and Tracy Cortez, which are both tough fighters, but she just hasn't looked her old Rose self, I guess, if that's something I could say. So, but yeah, good win for Rose to keep going. Muzzle salad call, Santiago Ponzinibbio. I thought Ponzi won, but I'm not gonna argue about it. Neither one. I think I even kind of said it in the when we were doing the simulcast too, that neither one were really kind of doing enough, and it was a super close fight, so I can't really argue either way. Jan, whoever, Silva, the big dog. Yeah, man,
dude,
I think this
so nutty, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he's wild, man. But I will say the only thing, and I can understand how I think they said Bisping is one that kind of really hates stuff like this, but when he kind of does the Anderson Silva thing where he's kind of aggressively going after him, and then he's trying to do a fist pound and stuff like that in the middle of the fight, and at random spots he's trying to hug him and stuff like that. And I understand why Bisping doesn't like it, because it's a little bit irritating when Jones Silva does it. But yeah, the dude's just a savage. He's quick. I mean, and like I said, the fighting nerds. I thought she looked great, but I mean, I don't know. The last 2 wins just hadn't been too impressive to me. But yeah, Jones Silva, man, I'm with you. Hey, maybe a matchup with maybe Calvin Kattar might be too quick of a jump, but Yeah, something like that. Calvin Kattar's on a little bit of a losing streak himself, and maybe if he loses that fight, I don't know if it's pink papers for him, but I think that'd be a fun fight for Jones Silva if he decides to stay at 145. But I mean, dude, with his athleticism, I mean, I think he can fight at 155. I mean, I think he'd be perfectly fine at 155. I mean, I don't know how he'd match up at the very top of the division.
Yeah, you got.
I'd
like Drew Dober's not the biggest 155er, and Drew Dober was still bigger than Gene Silva. But and
he also fought 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
he also fought 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is,
if
he decides to stay at 150, well, I'm just saying if he decides to actually build his frame for 155, because I mean, as we saw, that speed was the problem. I mean, and Drew Dober is not one that's known to not be pretty quick. I mean, his hooks are fast and his strikes are fast and stuff. And I thought, Jones Silva just made Drew Dober look slow the way he was out there. So good win for him. Juicy J, yeah, I mean, he busted a lot of my parlays, man. I mean, that was a really good performance from him. Man, he was walking in hands down. I even told you, I said, dude, he's getting a little reckless for someone to be as chinny as he is to be, having his hands down like that. But yeah, he ended up putting the pressure on Christian Rodriguez and got that sneaky guillotine. So good win for him. Cody Brundage, hey, I tried to tell y'all boys. Do not at all. And I'll tell you, this is a safe place. If you bet on a Cody Brundage fight, hey, we can talk about it. We can talk about it here. This is a safe place for you. But also, don't be surprised if you get a couple I told you so's along the way, because I've been trying to tell y'all from the beginning that stay away from a Cody Brundage fight. He will screw you every single time. Just no doubt about it. And yeah, I'll say Charles Johnson and Josh Van, super fun fight. I thought personally that was fight of the night for me. I thought that was the most back and forth. Honestly, I thought Drew Dober, while it was a good fight, I thought that fight was a little bit more one-sided. I thought Josh Van and Charles Johnson were getting after it. And Charles Johnson, right from the jump, got in Josh Van's face and was wearing him out, using the range. Josh Van was able to close that range in the second round. And to me, it was 1-1 going into that third round. Charles Johnson's coaches end up getting getting into him, getting them fired up. And dude, Charles Johnson came out that third round. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you boys, trying to tell you boys. But dude, for Charles Johnson to come out and against a raging prospect like Josh Van, and to get a knockout the way he did, love the way he kind of set up that right hand, came over the top, cracked Josh Van, kind of anticipating that he was going to try to duck another hook and just time that uppercut perfectly. And yeah, it was a good stoppage there. And dude, super good fun win for Charles Johnson. Montel Jackson too. Yeah, dude, they call him quick for a reason, man. I'd like to see him more active, kind of like a Tracy Cortez thing too. Because he does have ability and he's got a lot of power and he's a super sharp striker. He kind of reminds me of kind of like a Chidi Njokuani a little bit. Kind of has like his frame, just in terms of like he's not the bulkiest type dude, but just his range and his speed just can generate so much power and put dudes out. So yeah, I'd like to see him be more active. Jazz Vicious, she did her thing. Fatima Klein, I don't know why I kept calling her Fatima Silva. I don't know why I kept calling her that, but I had no reason to call her that. But good win for Jazz and yeah, Luana Santos. Yeah, I think with her little post fight celebration, she's gonna earn a couple more fans around the area. So, but yeah, I think that's about all I got from the card.
All right, fair enough. So with that being said, we would usually at this point, I guess, talk about I'm clicking shit. I'm not even trying to click. At this point, we would usually talk about our different picks on the card, which this past weekend were Maria Agapova versus Luana Santos, Montel Jackson versus Damon Blackshear, and Thug Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez, because that was our different picks this past weekend. But if you were watching the stream this past weekend, I already ate the beans, so I will not be doing that again. So I got one booger flavor and then a Tutti Frutti. So yeah, I'm glad D-Rose had a bag ready for me, ready to go. So no gold strap over here this time. Apparently D-Rose don't want it either.
There it is. I was waiting for the official transition, baby. Come on, man.
D-Rose and new pick champ of the week. So with that being said, let's move on to our UFC fight news and announcement section of the week. So, well, how about that? That'll work for us. So up first, we do have none other than a fantastic fight between Benoit Saint Denis versus Renato Moicano, Money Moicano. The thing is, it is on UFC Paris, September 28th. And UFC Paris, man, off the jump, I got to go BSD. I know you feel the other way. You want to talk about it for a second?
Yeah, I mean, just early on, I mean, I maybe fight week come and they, maybe they size up and, I might change my mind, but, just kind of early thoughts. I think that's especially in terms of, I think Renato Moicano is going to be probably a pretty big dog going into that fight. And, I think he's got some skill sets that can, maybe give BSD some problems. So, yeah, I think that's but I think the fight's closer than what the odds are likely going to be, because I think BSD is probably going to be every bit of a -200 favorite. And even if it doesn't open as that, he'll probably close as a -200 favorite. So, but I think this fight could be every bit of BSD -140, Renato Moicano +120. But yeah, I think Renato's a live dog here.
And Tim saying can't go against Moicano. He'll find a way. In his words, he can't afford to lose.
Literally. I mean, the man told you. I mean, he told you.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to be an absolute banger, September 28th. We'll move on to the next one that I'm sure a lot of you fans will be fans of. We got the online booty hole shower. Just online, just showing everything possible. Aileen Perez, she is going to be taking on Dara Zeleniakova. That is also UFC Paris, September 28th. If you care about that one at all, that's a wrestler versus striker matchup.
Yeah, I mean, should be a solid fight, and I think Aileen Perez is starting to get a little bit more fan traction as well, and the activity is only going to help her as well. So should be a fun fight.
Last time we talked about Aileen Perez on here on this fucking channel, the fucking Patty the Batty flung off the wall at me. So I'm glad that didn't happen right there. All right. So up next we got one yeah, dude. This might be the first ever fight that I picked Chepe to win in, man. We got Chepe Mariscal taking on Damon Action Jackson. That's UFC Vegas 95, August 10th. What's your thoughts on this? And is this an edited picture of Damon Jackson, or has his hair transplant officially grown in now?
Tell me he doesn't look like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead.
Dude, he looks like Beavis. Yeah, he looks like
Beavis. Yeah, he looks like Beavis from
Shut up, Beavis.
He 100% does. Oh man. Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna be upset about, because Chepe's my guy, is this is gonna be the only fight that I'm not gonna be able to take advantage of him being an underdog in, because his first 3 UFC fights. Now I didn't bet him against Trevor Peake, but I did bet him against
okay, Dave, I should have read that before I pulled it up. You animal. You animal. Oh, goodness gracious. All right.
Bro.
All right, so we'll move on to the next one. That was this past weekend. We've got Jacqueline Amarim taking on Vanessa, the dude. This is just leading into so many segues. The ex stripper Vanessa Demopoulos. This is going to be on UFC Vegas 97, September 7th. Do you care about this one at all, D Rose? This should be a ground battle because this is a jiu-jitsu black belt versus Vanessa Demopoulos that does arm bars. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah. That's what, like you said, should be grapplers delight. A lot of scrambling. So it should be a fun scrap though.
Yeah, all right. We'll move on to the next one where we have Jesus Aguilar. That's the dude that, turned Shannon Ross into a chicken tender. He's going to be taking on Stuart Nickel, UFC 305. I have no idea who Stuart Nickel is. You care about that one at all?
I thought you said Stuart Little at first. I was like, yo, Stuart Little. Mouse. I was like, yo, no. I was like, not Stuart Little. I don't really care about the fight.
All right. Chicken tenders. All right. We've got Faraz Ziam taking on the steamroller, Matt Frevola. Also, UFC Paris, September 28th. Matt Frevola going into enemy territory and going to be banging it out with probably one of the most least fun fighters there is, I guess, for Ziam, dude. It's a kickboxer that learned how to wrestle for the most part. Hopefully Matt Frevola goes up there and, steamrolls him and yells America. What's your thoughts here?
Am I tripping? I know Ziam fought Terrence McKinney before, but didn't he fight at featherweight recently? Or am I tripping?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, for some reason I thought he went down to 145 or was saying he was going to go down to 145 or something like that. So, I don't know. I don't know why that threw me off, but
because he's rather tall, I think fucking 6 foot, 6'1", some shit like that.
Yeah, no, he's a big dude. For some reason, I don't know why I thought he dropped down a weight class.
I know he got cut from the UFC for a little bit, and then he's only fought a few times.
Yeah, I think he's on a little bit of a win streak too. So, but yeah, that fight might be all right. But like you said, Ziam is normally in a pretty boring fight.
Yeah. All right. Who the fuck is that? Daniel Barres taking on Victor Altamirano. I will have to do my research. Daniel Barres does not ring a bell, but taking on Victor Altamirano, El Magnifico. Yeah. What's your thoughts here?
I don't really.
You don't have any.
Too much
Fair
about
enough.
Bars.
Right.
Yep. So
all right, we got Umar C taking on Da Woon Jung. That's UFC Paris. Thoughts on that?
Hey, feel like we haven't seen Da Woon Jung in a while. So yeah, it's good to good to finally see him back. He's normally in a pretty fun fight too. So and Umar C, isn't that side of his C's?
I think there's some relation. That should be his second fight in the UFC.
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, that should be a fun fight.
Yeah. Here we have Song Kanan taking on Ricky Glenn. Ricky Glenn? What? Hold on. Yeah, but the weight classes here are really throwing me off. I didn't think Ricky Glenn was a welterweight. No?
I know he's fought at 155 a lot.
Yeah, Song Kanan's, even though he's a little bit older, he's a pretty big guy. There's no chance on earth he's making a 170. I mean,
it says welterweight.
Yeah, dude, not going to be a good fight for Ricky Glenn off the jump. I'll tell you that. Yeah, wow. Here we go. We have Carol Holsa taking on Pani Kianzad, UFC Vegas 95, August 10th. I'm not even going to ask you. You don't care about that one. We've got Isaac Dolgarian returning against Brendan Morate. No clue who that is. So this should be a squash match for Isaac Dolgarian, yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Easy little bounce back dub.
Yeah, here's a fun one though, dude. We've got Nasruddin Imavov versus Brendan All In Allen taking place September Paris, and I believe this will be the co-main event, but I believe it is 5 rounds though. So take that into consideration. What's your thoughts here?
I mean, there's a very good chance that the winner of this one could be up next for a title shot as well. I mean, or potentially a fight with maybe like a Robert Whitaker, where Dricus and Izzy are going to fight next. There's a very good chance that even though a lot of people could make the argument for Rob, I think Sean Strickland's going to get that title shot next, and I think Rob's probably going to be at least one more win away. And I think potentially the winner of this fight could be up to fight Robert Whitaker next, or for the number one contender, basically.
I agree. Here we have Matus Gamer Gamrot taking on Dan, the Hangman Hooker, in the works for UFC 305, August 17th. I know the Hangman's your guy, D-Rose. What's your thoughts here? He can get taken down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's a tough matchup, man, because I like Gamrot as well. I just like his the dude just has a nonstop motor. I mean, in his wrestling, his chain wrestling is really good. His submission offense isn't the greatest at times, but yeah, it's a tough matchup for Dan Hooker. But at the same time, Dan Hooker's sharp with them knees and stuff as well. We've seen him put people out with his knees before, and he hurt Dustin Poirier with them before as well. So, I think if he can land a big shot on Gamrot, which Gamrot has been hit a couple of times before too, Dan Hooker, he'll put your lights out. So I like that fight a lot.
Yeah, sounds good, man. And this is probably it's for UFC 308. I thought that I honestly thought this. So that last fight, like the Brendan Allen versus Imavov dude, that might end up headlining because I thought this was going to be the headliner, but this says in the works for UFC 308. So that is interesting. So Cyril Gahn versus Alexander Volkov 2 in the works for UFC 308, October 26th. This is probably the card that I will be traveling to you for, D-Rose.
This one should be a banger, and
I like the new Volkov.
I mean, I honestly
like he is. He fucking goes forward now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that and he's using his range and his size now. Like, even though Pavlovich still had the longest reach in UFC history for frame or whatever, he couldn't get close to the Volkov, and Volkov was still, pounding him. And he's been using his grappling. He uses grappling against Taito Ibasa, who has terrible grappling, and he got that Ezekiel choke on him. So, dude, I like the way Volkov's looking right now. And Cyril Gahn, I mean, I picked Volkov to beat Cyril Gahn in that first fight, and I will admit that Cyril Gahn did impress me a lot in that fight. He gave Volkov some problems with the speed, but I am interested in this fight, especially with it being 3 rounds too. And we do see that Cyril Gahn has the hole in his game in wrestling, so I'm curious to see maybe the winner of this one could potentially fight for the title. Maybe fight Aspinall, because we know Jones ain't fighting either of these guys.
Yeah, isn't Aspinall fighting in England?
Against Blades. But
man.
I guess I was just assuming that. Aspinall was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, they already fought once. I mean, even though like a knee got blown out, Curtis Blades was looking pretty good in there. But anyway, so let's move on to the next one, where we have one that interesting fight to make. We've got Kevin Jusay taking on Brian the Butcher Battle. That's going to be UFC Paris, September 28th. So the American, the Butcher, Brian Battle going into enemy territory, taking on the Frenchman. What's your thoughts here, D-Rose?
That's a good fight, because Kevin Jusay, he's we know he's the because he trains out of what Izzy and them, right? He trains out of their camp, and AKA, or dude, I don't know why CKB. I'm blanking on their CK. I don't know why I was blanking on their name, but Brian Battle. I like Brian Battle too. He's a fun scrapper, and I know he's had a little bit of trouble making weight the last couple of times too, so I'll be interested to see if he can make weight consistently. But yeah, that should be a good one.
Indeed. What's going on, Tank Niner? Thanks for stopping by tonight, brother. We've got up next Andre Petrovsky. Just now fought this past weekend. Already got another fight booked, and he's going to be taking on Dylan Budka. That is going to be UFC Vegas 97, September 7th. You care about that one at all?
No.
All right. Well, that being said, that is our last one. So, any other news that you would like to talk about while I can, or that you would like to, anything else you want to talk about while I get pulled this fight night pulled up for us, Theros?
Do you have a prediction? Because I know that Mike Perry and Jake Paul is this weekend.
Oh, I've already told you. If it wasn't bare knuckle, I didn't care. Jake Paul will probably end up fucking winning just because that's how it works. I'll be rooting for Mike Perry. Yeah, but
are you going to bet it?
No, definitely not. Zero chance. Especially this will probably be Saturday night, right? Is this also going to be Saturday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll have UFC going on at the same time. That doesn't really interest me too much, to be honest. So, let's move into the final segment on today's show. What everyone is here for, to find out who is really the most handsome at 115 pounds. Is it Amanda Lemos or is it Verna Jandiroba? Cockadeye. Anyway, this weekend, Saturday, July 20th at 5 p.m. East Coast time. 5 p.m. East Coast time is when the prelim starts. So not too late, but I wish this would start really early so I would have my afternoon free. But with that being said, this will be taking place at the UFC Apex, where we have 12 fights to go over. In the main event this weekend, we've got Amanda Lemos taking on
Verna. Sound too excited.
Taking on Verna. You can do it, Jandiroba. we've got Brad Tavares taking on the Iron Turtle, Young Park. We've got Mean Machine, Steve Garcia, taking on the double knockdown king, Sung Woo Choi. We've got Kurt Hollowball, two-time UFC vet now, taking on Kynan Kaczerski. And I know you're like, what? I thought that guy died. Yeah, Elvis Brenner killed him not too long ago, but apparently they revived him, and he's back in the UFC, and he's going to fight Kurt Hollowball now. We've got Cody Durden taking on Bruno Silva, not the 185-pound Bruno Silva, because he's staring you right in the face right now on the other side of your, or probably right below me. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, he's right below me right now. But the 125-pound Bruno Silva, the one that trains with Henry Cejudo. We've got the return of the Korean Superboy, Do Ho Choi, taking on Senor Perfecto, Bill Algeo. Fights a lot like Juicy J this past weekend. We've got Hyder Emil, the undefeated Hyder Emil, taking on Jiyoung Lee. We've got Brian Boom Kelleher, another part of the Skullet gang. Is he going to have it this weekend? We'll find out. He's going to be taking on Cody Gibson, tough veteran and two-time UFC vet. We have Miranda Fear the Maverick taking on Diani Barbosa. We've got Luik Radzhabov taking on Trey Ogden. We've got Luana Carolina taking on Lucy Pudilova. And the first fight of the night, curtain jerker, if you will, where we will start at, we've got Muhammad Usman, the Motor, taking on Thomas the Train Peterson. So the Train versus the Motor. Anyway, we're going to get started there. But before we do get started, D-Rose, give me an honest opinion. If you have to rate this card 1 to 10, what do you give it?
4.
4. Okay, so not 0, not 1. You know. Yeah,
I mean, I almost said 5, but yeah, I'll give it a 4. So I mean, a 4, in terms of the grade scale, when where we went to school, 40 still failing. So there's very few fights that I'm like, oh man, I need to see this fight. And honestly, I don't need to see any of the fights, but they're pretty good matchups, and they are going to be fights, and it's better than having no fights. So I will suck it up and I will watch it still. But yeah, tough cards this week.
And then the donation for all the demonetization. It's all right, Dave. We appreciate you, man. You are too kind.
Hey, you might hit a jackpot. I couldn't, couldn't money.
What's up, Derek? How you doing tonight, brother? All right, so let's get into the first fight of the night, where we have Muhammad the Motor Usman taking on Thomas the Train Peterson. Muhammad Usman is 10-3 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has won 3 of them and lost 2. One of them, though, is in the PFL. A UFC fight knocked out Zach Palga in the tough finale. Junior Tafa decision and Jake Collier decision, and then got wrestled in his last fight against McParkin decision. And yeah, I bet that fight at McParkin decision, and I was pretty right. He's going to be taking on Thomas Peterson, the Train, basically the same fighter that McParkin is, maybe just not as good, not quite as big. Same record in his last 5 fights, fought in the LFA, and his last fight was in the UFC against Jamal Post, where he just got jabbed all 3 rounds via decision. Currently odds for this fight, D-Rose, minus 136 for Muhammad Usman and plus 106 the underdog for Thomas the Train Peterson. Muhammad Usman, 35 years old, 6'2" and a 79-inch reach, while Thomas the Train Peterson, 29 years old, 6'1" and a 74-inch reach. I usually kick it off first, D-Rose, but I'm going to do the honors and just let you kick it off, man. Who you going?
To me,
there's a lot of choice.
I mean, I see right now.
Magny versus Michael Morales for Vegas.
Michael Morales.
Yeah, that was we might have talked about that a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, it's they might have just made it official. It could have been rumored, and now it's official. But yeah, no, Thomas Peterson, to me, in that last fight against Jamal Post, I thought that he showed a little bit of a bad gas tank, and wasn't really able to do too much on the takedowns. Jamal Post stuffed the takedowns, and as you said, pretty much just jabbed him up for the whole fight. To me, I think that Muhammad Usman has similar ability. He does have a pretty good jab. Now, as far as his overall striking, no, it's not that great, but he does have a pretty good jab, and he uses it well. And I think that he can fight basically similar to how Jamal Post fought Thomas Peterson. Muhammad Usman, good wrestler. They call him, he's the motor for a reason. He's got a really good gas tank, good offensive wrestling. He doesn't have the cleanest striking, but he does have good power when he lands. And I think Muhammad Usman is the more well-rounded of the two. So I think Muhammad Usman is going to win a decision.
All right, so the Rose on Muhammad Usman, the motor via decision. I, on the other hand, am on the opposite. Partly because Muhammad Usman's probably one of those fighters I don't know if I've ever picked here on the podcast, the Rose. I'm pretty sure I've picked against them most times, maybe picked them one time. I just don't think he's that good, man. If he can't kind of bully you, then his game kind of falls apart for the most part. So Thomas Peterson, kind of the same size. So if he can come in here and just stop being held up against the cage and do any kind of work, whether that be take Muhammad Usman down or just establish any kind of jab on him, I believe he can actually win, because Muhammad Usman just goes in there and just tries to wing these giant hooks, and that's pretty much all he's got. Either that or he'll hold you up against the fence, and aside from that, I don't think he's the best. So give me the dog in Thomas Peterson, and you are going Muhammad Usman. All right, so I don't see Lushin here, so let me write this down.
because we got to this week because Lush helps us out. But, I'm just makes me kind of wonder, make sure that Lush is okay. Thinking about you right now, Lush. We appreciate all you do, man. All right. So this is the dog. All right. I don't know why I put that, but it is what it is. So move on to the next fight, which is Luana Carolina taking on Lucy Pudilova. And I do not have this one pulled up. So let me do that real quick. My back is really itching right now. Probably got a dog hair stuck in there. That's what happens. Yeah, so let's get this.
Probably them big ass mosquitoes that you got over there at your house.
Dude, they're like the size of birds, dude. The size of birds.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next one. Lucy Pudilova taking on Luana Dread Carolina. Luana Carolina 10-4 overall out of her last 5 fights. She has won 3 and lost 2. A win over Lupi Godinez, unanimous decision, believe it or not. 2 years and 9 months ago, got spinning back elbowed against Molly McCann. Crazy that you'll beat Lupi and lose the Molly. Split decision loss to Joanne Wood. Irina Petrovich decision win, and Julija Stolarenko KO from Crucifix 5 months ago in a very impressive fight to me. Luana looked very good in my opinion. Yeah. She's going to be taking on Lucy Pudilova. Out of her last 5 fights, she is 3 wins, 2 losses, 14-9 overall, though. She was out of the UFC for a little bit. She's had, I think, 3 fights back in now. Or hold on. Yeah, 3 fights back in now. KO over Wu Yanan, and then lost her last 2 against Jocelyn Edwards and Alien Perez. And look at this fight against Jocelyn Edwards. I'm not saying they fight exactly the same, but Luana Carolina and Jocelyn Edwards, kind of the same fighter. And I kind of think Julija Stolarenko is a better fighter, but kind of the same as Lucy Pudilova. And right now, currently, odds for this fight, minus 111 for Luana Carolina, minus 115 for Lucy Pudilova. So Lucy Pudilova, the slightest of favorites. Luana Carolina, a slight dog or about even money. So Luana Carolina, 31 years old, 5'6", 69-inch reach, while Lucy Pudilova, Jesus Christ, how many more pop-ups can come on the screen right now? Lucy Pudilova is 30 years old, 5'8", and a 67.5-inch reach, man. Give me the dog here, D Rose. I kind of said why. I kind of think Jocelyn Edwards and Luana Carolina, kind of the same fighter as were Lucy Pudilova and Julija Stolarenko. Kind of the same fighter. And, like Luana just now beat Julija, and Lucy Pudilova just now lost to Jocelyn Edwards not too long ago. So, yeah, give me Luana Dread Carolina as the dog to win this fight via decision. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, for me, I have I'm like you, how you said in the last fight. I've never picked Luana Carolina in a fight, and I'm not going to. I don't know. Something just cannot convince me to pick her. She's just very plotty and heavy on her feet. I mean, she does have pretty good striking, but has her head movement doesn't seem to be the best at times. Seems to take some big shots. As you saw in the Molly McCann fight, she does take some big shots. Lucy Pudilova has fought at 135. As you said, fighting Jocelyn Edwards and girls like that. So yeah, she has been able to. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, no, I wasn't her. But yeah, I think Pudilova is going to be the naturally bigger girl just in terms of size. And we know Luana Carolina, her takedown defense might not necessarily be the best. And I think that's where Pudilova can take advantage. But I think her striking is a little bit better than Julija Stolarenko's as well. So I think her striking is going to be a little bit more sharper to where it'll set up her entries. End up getting some takedowns, probably be a PBF, but I think I'm taking Pudilova here by decision.
And the piss break fight of the night, me and D Rose are split. D Rose on Lucy Pudilova, once again the favorite, and I'm on the dog in Luana Carolina. crazy, man. So
they're like the smallest of dogs. It's not like they're big dogs.
The only reason why I say that is because I think I have Luana Carolina bet earlier in the week at like serious plus money. Like, let's see, I'll tell you. I don't want to help improve FanDuel right now. Let's see.
Because FanDuel Lucy Padalova is minus 115. Luana Carolina.
That's why I just told you.
I mean,
that's why I just
right. So that's what I'm saying. That's even. Like that's as even as it can get.
No, it could get less even. I mean, it could be minus 110 apiece. But earlier in the week, I have Luana Carolina bet at plus 120. There we go. That's why. So it's kind of dropped a little bit. I have like Luana Carolina at plus 120, and then in a different parlay, I have Lucy Pudilova at minus 115. So about even there. So not too far apart, but Luana Carolina still the dog though. So we got Dave saying to start round 2. Yeah, probably go to that's going to be a lot. That's going to be like minus 600 to start round 2, Dave. So we'll move on to the next one. That is Loic Radzhabov taking on, the Tajik Tank, Loic Radzhabov taking on the Samurai Ghost in Trey Ogden. Loic Radzhabov 18-5-1. And out of his last 5 fights, only 3 have been in the UFC with a win over Esteban Ribovics, which, Esteban Ribovics, good fighter. Mateusz Raumbecki KO, which, round 1, Mateusz Raumbecki is a hard person to deal with for anyone. And then Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi KO. And Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi looks to be a pretty good fighter. Anyway, Trey Ogden, on the other hand, 17-6 overall in his last 5 fights. 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 no contest. Kurt Hollabaugh decision win. Nicholas Mota, premature stoppage, but he was going in that fight. He lost to Ignacio Bahamondes, has a win over Daniel Zellhuber, and then lost to Jordan Levitt via split decision. Currently, odds for this fight are minus 113 for Loic Radzhabov and minus 113 for Trey Ogden. So exactly dead even. Man, Trey Ogden's been pretty good recently. Sorry, I didn't tell you the age. Loic Radzhabov, 33 years old, 5'11", 69-inch reach, while Trey Ogden is 34 years old, 5'11", and a 72-inch reach. Yeah, Trey Ogden, good man, but how do I say this? It's only if he can set up a game plan against you that he can execute no matter what. So, how do I say this? If Loic goes out there and cracks him one solid time, I think Trey Ogden's fucking game plan goes out the door and he's just on defense mode the rest of the fight. And truly, I think that's probably what happened. So give me Loic Radzhabov that if he doesn't knock out Trey Ogden in the first round, to probably go on and just win this fight via decision. So most likely the second one. I expect him to hurt Trey Ogden and just kind of put him on really defense mode the rest of the fight. Loic Radzhabov via decision is where I'm going here. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think this one's a really tough one to call. I've been kind of going back and forth. But I will say I have been impressed by Trey Ogden in his last few fights. I know that he's doing the coaching and kind of running the gym, and he's been cornering a bunch of fighters. And I can't remember the ones off his camp off the top of my head, but I do know that he's a smart fighter, and especially coming from that coach angle as well. Kind of studying the fight and stuff like that. As you said, he typically has a precise game plan on the opponent. Loic Radzhabov, the dude, he does have power in his hands. So I do agree with you. He does have the ability to crack Trey Ogden, but I don't know. I just like Trey Ogden's fight IQ. I mean, I think he's very well rounded. Pretty solid boxing with the 1-2s. Got some pretty good leg kicks. Solid wrestling. Pretty good cardio. So yeah, I think I like Trey Ogden by decision here, man.
All right, we are both going to the fight to go to decision. So just put it to start round 3, just to just to save yourself, because last week me and D-Rose both were on Josh Van versus Charles Johnson, going to decision, and then Charles Johnson gets a third round knockout. So yeah, we are split once again. First 3 fights of the night, D-Rose. Me and you are split. Is this going to continue on the rest of the night, man? Just gonna pick the opposite fighter every single fight.
Hey, we should have there will be some agreements, but hey, we'll have plenty to choose from on the pick champ.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one. We have Miranda Fear the Maverick taking on Diani the Witch Barbosa, and that is literally her nickname. I'm not calling her a witch. Calm down, y'all. Yeah. So we have Miranda Maverick 13-5 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has 4 wins and 1 loss. Jazz Devicious up in Canada a year ago. Me and D-Rose watched that fight together when he came down here on vacation last year. Yeah. Diani Barbosa, on the other hand, has only had 1 fight in the UFC, 1 fight on the Contender Series, where she did win over Rain Guerrero armbar and Ernesta Carrasquete, where she won via decision. But Ernesta doesn't look like she's too experienced in MMA. She looks like a good kickboxer, but yeah, currently odds for this fight -225 for Miranda Maverick and +172 for Diani Barbosa. Miranda Maverick, 27 years old, 5'3" and a 65-inch reach, while Diani Barbosa, 32 years old, 5'6" and a 66-inch reach. I will let you break it down first. D-Rose, go for it, man.
Yeah, this one, Miranda Maverick was supposed to fight Tracy Cortez. That fight didn't end up happening. Tracy Cortez has been ready. To my understanding, Diani Barbosa is coming in on short notice on this one. She is a solid fighter, but I still do think, kind of early on in her career right now, Miranda Maverick's kind of, been a little bit tested and proven in this division for a little bit now. And, the one thing that is going to put a little fear into me, because seeing the height advantage here, seeing them face off, if, Miranda Maverick, 5'3", she could be 5'4", maybe, if she's going to be a significantly.
Dude, when I met her, I was like, oh my goodness, you are like, dude.
Yeah, she is.
Dude, tiny, dude. Like my full head is taller, dude. She might be 5'3" on a good day, but probably 5'1", 5'2", man.
Damn. But yeah, I think but Miranda Maverick,
now
like
she is absolutely jacked though.
Yeah, exactly what I was about to say. She's got good boxing, good wrestling, and yeah, I think Miranda Maverick here, especially with Barbosa coming in on short notice, should have the better cardio here, and I think Miranda Maverick gets a decision.
Yeah, I am with you, dude. Miranda Maverick via decision here, but just because obviously I just now pulled it up, but this was the first UFC fighter that I actually ever met. Pretty cool, to be honest. There wasn't that many people there to meet her, but I was, pretty close to going to see her, so I went and stopped by. Got an autograph. Let me pop this back off the screen. I went and got an autograph and such that is right here beside the howler head. Right there. She's choking out Sabina Mazo. Not really saying a whole lot, but I can't pick against my girl. Dude. And apparently everyone else is also like on her just as much as me, dude. Give me Miranda Maverick once again to win this fight via decision. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen here. I think Miranda's probably going to get her down and just stay safe for the most part. And hopefully that's the way it goes, because I like when Miranda Maverick wins. It makes me happy. Anything else on this fight, or just me and you are finally on the same side for once?
Finally.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one, where we have none other than Brian Boom Kelleher taking on Cody Gibson. Why isn't my page loading here? Come on now. There we go. Let's see here. Man. There we go. I hope she wins. Miranda's a tank. She definitely is. She definitely is, man. So, wow. My banner disappeared. I pulled the damn thing off for the... I'm losing my mind, heroes. Here we go. We got Brian Boom Kelleher taking on the Renegade Cody Gibson. And yeah, dude, at one point in time, dude, when I was very first able to bet on MMA, dude, so probably like 2021, I was a Brian Kelleher fan, dude. I was betting on him. He was winning probably, yeah, this fight, and probably a few right before that. Brian Boom Kelleher had that power, dude. He would lay it on, dude, and he would just drop dudes, and he had a solid guillotine too, but he had a neck surgery in between this time right here, I believe. Yeah, has had a neck surgery, or had the neck injury around this time, and was just kind of fighting through it, and actually had a surgery right here, and he fought Cody Garbrandt in his last fight, dude. And I picked Brian Kelleher to win because I was like, dude, Brian Kelleher has power. He can put Cody Garbrandt out, man. But after watching that fight, dude, Brian Kelleher just looked like he didn't have anything left, dude. Just like, you must have just really needed some money, dude. I was a fan of Brian Boom Kelleher, but the way he showed up against Cody Garbrandt, just not a good look. Cody Gibson, on the other hand, 19-10 overall. This is his second stint in the UFC. Out of his last 5 fights 3 months ago, lost to Miles Johns, a loss to Brad Katona, a win. Okay, those are outside the UFC, so it doesn't even matter. Currently, odds for this fight plus 164 for Brian Boom Kelleher, and Cody Gibson minus 215. Brian Kelleher, 37 years old, 5'6", and a 64.5-inch reach, while Cody Gibson, 36 years old, 5'10", and a 71.5-inch reach. D-Rose, Cody Gibson, younger, taller, longer, for sure the more active fighter. He uses his foot range and jabs good. How could I not go Cody Gibson via decision here? Just after Brian Kelleher looking like absolute shit in his last fight, and probably, dude, you know I'm a fan of the Skullet, but that shit was just bad looking. Charles Johnson, you know, that thing's pretty sick looking, but Brian Kelleher's was not good, man. Not good at all. Yeah, what's your thoughts here on this fight?
Well, it is different as well when, Charles Johnson kind of came into the game like that, where Brian Kelleher had been rocking the bald head for a long time, and then he gets a Skullet. So it's like, he kind of joined the game a little bit late. And, we already saw him bald. Ain't no sense in going to the Skullet at that point. You got to just rock it out with the bald head. But no, I think honestly, I'll keep it short and sweet. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody Gibson actually got the finish. I'd be curious to see what kind of props there would be. But Brian Kelleher does seem to have seems to be a little bit more. I don't know. He can't really seem to take a shot.
Look good, right? Like he had like an actual neck operation, so it makes sense, dude.
Yeah, and he does take damage, and Cody Gibson, he's not the. I know he doesn't have the strongest power, but I could see him just eventually just wearing down Kelleher, maybe getting a late finish here. But no, I think Cody Gibson definitely gets the dub. I wouldn't mind doing a round 3 decision, or maybe seeing like a KO / decision prop, just to try to knock that line down just a little bit. But yeah, I would not be surprised if Cody Gibson got the knockout this week.
All right, so me and you are both on the Renegade Cody Gibson, dude. And yeah, man, the fall from grace that Brian Boom Kelleher had, right? Like, I remember when me and you first started the podcast, we like had a little fucking segment about how Brian Kelleher was like fucking freestyle, and you're like, dude, he's actually got some bars. And then after that, it just went all downhill. Just dude, when Tyron Woodley started rapping, downhill. When Brian Boom Kelleher started rapping, downhill, dude. That is like the worst base to have for MMA now, dude. If you're an MMA fighter, do not start rapping, dude. You will just lose all of your talent.
Save it for after the fight. Do not do it during, because we see what happens when you do.
Both times it's happened, man. Not good. Up next, we do. All right, so me and D-Rose both on the Renegade, Cody Gibson. Up next, we got Hyder Emil taking on Jiyoung Lee. The Hurricane Hyder Emil is 9-0, while Jiyoung, the Korean Tiger Lee, is 11-1. Hyder Emil is currently, where's it at? A plus 154, the dog, and Jiyoung Lee minus 200, the favorite. Hyder Emil has had 9 fights, obviously undefeated in all 9. Has had 1 fight in the UFC, 1 fight on the Contender Series. And D-Rose, you see this Fernie Garcia KO standing strikes. And this is after the Rinya Nakamura fight. Rinya Nakamura couldn't finish Fernie. I don't think Fernie had ever been finished. And then Hyder Emil comes out there and then beats the absolute shit out of Fernie Garcia. It was the first or second round, dude. Just blew through the tough-ass Fernie Garcia, dude. On the other hand, Jiyoung, the Korean Tiger Lee, has had, I believe, 2 fights in the UFC as well with a, I believe that's, I'm not sure what that is. Blake Builder decision win is the one I remember. And, I was on Blake Builder in that fight. And, after that fight, kind of maybe not as high on Blake Builder as maybe I should have been for the most part. But, man, I think this is one where I'm going to be on the dog again. Hyder Emil, dude. He is 34 years old, 5'9", and a 70-inch reach. Trains under Gilbert Melendez at El Nino Training Center. Jiyoung Lee is 28 years old, 5'10", and a 73-inch reach. So Jiyoung Lee going to have a height and reach advantage, and he is a little bit younger too. But, dude, the way Hyder Emil fights, dude, it's with furiosity, and it being, both fighters semi-young in their career. Jiyoung Lee's got a little bit more experience, but with how he fights, it's just kind of balls to the wall, dude. And the way Hyder Emil just destroyed Fernie Garcia, I have to go with the dog because it's kind of a coin flip fight. So with that being said, give me the plus 154 dog in Hyder Emil here. Which way are you going here, man?
Man, this one is a tough fight to call because just limited footage on both fighters here. But as you said, I do remember Hyder Emil finishing Fernie Garcia, and then Blake Builder win for Jiyoung Lee. But I think Jiyoung Lee, he did look good in the Blake Builder fight, but I honestly have the same opinion as you do. Maybe Blake Builder, I shouldn't have hyped him up so much, because what was his win against Shane Young? I mean, not as we see, not the greatest win in the world, and not aging great as well. So, but from what I saw from Jiyoung Lee, he does seem to be very well rounded, good cardio as well, and I think he does kind of have like a little bit of a wrestling base that could give Hyder Emil a little bit of a problem to slow down a little bit of that power and maybe use a little bit of his striking as the fight goes on. So, I'm going to go Jiyoung Lee here. Not the most confident though, because I'm not going to lie, I've been going back and forth on this one, but give me Jiyoung Lee here.
All right. All right, dude. I have picked nothing but the dogs and even fights so far. What the fuck, man? Why can't I get me a solid favorite in here, D Rose? What's up, man?
Hey, you're the one who's picking them. Hey, nobody's telling you to. No one's telling you to pick the dog.
Yeah. To be fair, all these fights are pretty close this weekend, man. So we'll move on to the next fight, which is a fun one, man, where we have the return of the Korean Superboy Do Ho Choi taking on Senor Perfecto Bill Algeo. So Korean Superboy, can we really say anything besides his last fight against Kyle Nelson that ended in a draw, man. Because he's been in the Korean military for basically the past 3 years, man, and then came back against Kyle Nelson and looked okay, but got a point taken away for a bullshit headbutt. I thought he should have won the decision, but ended up not going that way. Senor Perfecto, Bill Algeo, we all know how he fights. I get him confused with Juicy J that fought this past weekend because they basically fight the same way, dude, and lost to Kyle Nelson 3 months ago via knockout. Was it a little early? Maybe. Probably, but
he was getting knocked back and forth. He was getting knocked back and forth. It wasn't. And as someone who bet Bill Algeo, that was not an early stoppage. That was a good stoppage. He was getting knocked all across the octagon by Kyle Nelson. It was rough.
Was this the one that was in like New Jersey? Because maybe I was like in the octagons. I mean, I wasn't in the octagon. I was like in the stands.
Oh, I was like, damn, what were you repping?
So it didn't seem as bad as maybe it looked on the TV. But anyway, Korean Superboy, 33 years old, 5'10", 70-inch reach, while Senor Perfecto Bill Algeo is 35 years old, 6 foot, and a 73-inch reach. And yeah, man, currently odds for this fight: Bill Algeo minus 172 and Duho Choi plus 134. And I got to be honest, the Rose, on this fight, I thought I was going to be sneaky. I thought a lot of people were going to be on Duho Choi just because of the name. He came back, got the rust off a little bit. Back to training with everyone that he should be training with. And I expect people for Duho Choi to get back on track this fight. So I truly expected him to be about a 2-1 favorite. Because I was going to go Senor Perfecto, Bill Algeo, just because, just the same as this past weekend, man. It's just something about these kind of fighters, the Juicy J, the Bill Algeo, Senor Perfecto. They have this kind of style. They're long and fucking lanky, and they can just wrap shit up so easily. And they also have a gas tank and these like weird punches that come at odd angles, and they can take a little bit of damage. They have been chin, but I personally think Bill Algeo's got a much better chin than Juicy J does. Got this solid head movement, good boxing, dude. And I guess I will be on the Pennsylvania's King of Prussia, Pennsylvania's own Bill Algeo this week as the favorite, man. I expected him to be the dog, but I guess not, man. Give me Bill Algeo to win this fight via decision. Which way are you going here, man?
Hey, there's your favorite. There's your favorite right there. I think this is a well-matched fight, and honestly, you could look back at that draw against Kyle Nelson for Korean Superboy, and hey, that draw to age pretty gracefully because Kyle Nelson, I think I've notoriously picked against him. I've notoriously picked against Kyle Nelson in a lot of his fights, including the one against Bill Algeo.
Including the one against Blake Builder.
He's definitely looked a lot better. So that draw doesn't look as bad for Duho Choi. Bill Algeo, honestly, man, him getting knocked out the way, and I know it was a standing TKO, but for him to take the concussive blows the way that he did and turn around 3 months later, I'm not gonna lie, that's a little bit concerning, especially with the dude in Duho Choi who we know he's got good boxing, good power in his hands, and he's a good
about 4 years ago.
But he also gave Kyle some issues in that fight as well, and he's been nursing injuries and has been, as you said, been getting back to his foundation in terms of his actual training and not having military duties or anything like that to really interrupt his training. I think he's got good power here, good counter striking, and I think Bill Algeo, as I said, 3 months ago you just got knocked out and you're turning right back around and facing another power puncher. Give me Duho Choi as a dog here. I like Duho Choi, and I think Duho Choi gets a knockout here.
All right, D Rose going the Korean Superboy Do Ho Choi, and I am on Senior Perfecto Bill Algia. Finally got myself a favorite though. Yeah, so we will move on to the next fight. Which is, dude, I did not know they could bring literally people back from the dead, man. Like, wait, hold on. Ah, man. No, it looks like we just don't have odds for this. No, we do. I just skipped over it. Or no, it's just out of order on FanDuel. So up next, we have Cody Durden taking on Bruno Silva. So with that being said, you all right, man?
Yeah, my frame for my glove fell, so that's why I was trying to look at that, and then yeah, I look up, and then all of a sudden my camera started going bad. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This whole thing is starting to fall apart on me over here.
It's well, hopefully you're all right. That's what happens when we talk about Alien Perez here on the channel. Shit starts to fall off our walls, man.
Yeah, we'll have to fix this here in a minute.
All right, man. So
it all falls apart.
We talk about Alien Perez and our fucking sets fall apart, dude. 2 times in a row now, dude. Can't mention her name anymore. Up next, we got Cody Durden taking on Bruno the Bulldog Silva. Cody Durden, 15-1 out of all of his fights. And out of his last 5 fights, he is 4-1. With a rear naked choke loss against Tagir Ulanbekov, a win against Jake Hadley decision, a win against Charles Johnson decision, a win against Carlos Mota decision, and a JP Bays knockout 2 years ago. On the other hand, Bruno Silva, Tyson Nam rear naked choke, Victor Rodriguez knockout, and JP Bays knockout. But who doesn't do that at this point? Tagir Ulanbekov lost via decision. And David Dvorak lost via decision. Doesn't look too good, but I think that was his UFC debut 4 years ago. Currently, odds for this fight, -122 for Cody Durden and -104 for Bruno Silva. So Cody Durden, the slightest of favorites. Bruno Silva, a little bit of a dog, but basically even money. Cody Durden, 33 years old, 5'7", 67-inch reach. Bruno Silva, 34 years old, 5'4", and a 66-inch reach. So Cody Durden going to have a size advantage over Bruno Silva. Yeah, D Rose, and dude, do you remember what happened in Cody Durden's last fight, man? It's just like I had never picked fucking Cody Durden in any of his fights ever, and I'm like, you know what? I'm finally going to pick him against Tagir Ulanbekov, and he just gets submitted like in the first round. I was like, fuck, man. When I finally pick him, he just gets absolutely fucking smoked, dude. Yeah, man. But having the size advantage over fucking Bruno Silva, I think he can use his size, get Bruno Silva down, and we see Cody Durden via decision here. So give me the favorite, Cody Durden, to win this fight via decision. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, I really it just falls off. It's like Nair. It's just there and it's not. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, I keep it short and sweet. Same thing. I got Cody Durden in my decision. I think Bruno Silva's got a little bit better striking, but as you said, Cody Durden is going to be the much bigger fighter. Probably going to be the little bit more physical fighter. Bruno Silva is the more dangerous of the two. So I think whoever's got the finishing ability is definitely Bruno Silva. But I think if Cody Durden plays it smart here, uses the wrestling and tries to use the position, yeah, David's rolling right now. But yeah, I got Cody Durden by decision here.
All right, me and D Rose both on Cody Durden. So move on to the next one where kind of skipped to it, but yeah, they revived Kynan Kruczewski to take on Kurt Holloway in this fight, man. And if you don't know why I said that, Elvis Brenner basically killed him 8 months ago, dude, in the middle of the octagon, dude. It was like, oh no, I'm pretty sure a man just died right in the middle of the UFC cage, but nope, he didn't die. You know, it's been 8 months and 1 week, but he is out of his coma that Elvis Brenner put him in, dude. That was one of the nastiest knockouts I've probably seen in a long time. But you know, let's get into the fight. Kurt Holloway, Kurt the Hurt Hollowball is 20-8 overall. His second stint in the UFC. Unanimous decision win. 5. Okay, what are we doing here? Yeah, here we go. 10 months ago, Austin Hubbard triangle choke win. And then Trey Ogden decision loss 3 months ago. On the other hand, Kynan Kruczewski got killed 8 months ago by Elvis Brenner. And then on the Contender Series, rear naked choke against Dylan Mantello or Mantillo, whichever one it is. Currently, odds for this fight, Kurt Hollowball plus 108. Kynan Kruczewski is minus 138. Yeah, this is probably the fight that I care the least about on this card, to be honest. But Kurt Hollowball, 37 years old, 5'11", 70-inch reach, while Kynan Kruczewski is 30 years old, 33 years old, 6 foot, and a 73-inch reach. Yeah, I don't care about this fight. Give me Kurt Hollowball as the dog to win this fight via decision. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think Kurt Hollowball's a little bit more experienced of the two, the UFC vet, you could say, and I think he's got a pretty good chin. I think if I can't even pronounce the guy's name, Kurichi, whatever it is, Kanyan, Kanan. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, Kurt Hollowball. I think he's as long as he doesn't get finished early, should be able to either get the finish late himself, maybe a late submission or a decision here. But yeah, I got Kurt Hollowball.
All right, me and D-Rose both on Kurt Hollowball to win this fight. We'll move on to the next one. That is Mean Machine Steve Garcia taking on.
This is low key fight of the night right here.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Mean Machine Steve Garcia taking on Sting Sung Woo Choi. So Steve Garcia 15-5 overall. Sung Woo Choi 11-6 overall. Steve Garcia, out of his last 5 fights, he is 4 wins, 1 loss. Terrible. Win over Charlie Ontiveros 2 years and 9 months ago. Lost to Mahashate. Not a good look, to be honest, especially getting knocked out. But Chase Hooper knocked out Chase Hooper when he dropped down to 145 pounds. That was mean what he did to Chase Hooper. Knocked out Charlene Orton-Becky, and then knocked out Ezekiel Costa 7 months ago. On the other hand, Sung Woo Choi has a win over Jarno Aarons 10 months ago, and Jarno Aarons looking pretty solid, to be honest. This fight right here, Michael Trezano, dude, this fight is probably one of the craziest fights you'll ever watch. Dude, they knocked down each other at the same time, man, and it went on.
Double left hook.
Yeah. Mike Trezano now in BKFC winning, dude, and Mike Trezano got cut after this fight against Sung Woo Choi, so kind of wild, man. Yeah, currently odds for this fight are minus 146 for Steve Garcia and plus 114 for Sting Sung Woo Choi. Steve Garcia, 32 years old, 6 foot, and a 73-inch reach, while Sung Woo Choi, 31 years old, 6 foot, and a 74.5-inch reach. Yeah, man. Bet this fight to go under. Whatever the under is, bet the under. This fight is not, dude. It wouldn't surprise me if this does not start the second round. So we usually try to bet that this fight to start round 2. Yes, this one will not be included in that parlay this week. Yeah, I guess officially give me Steve Garcia to knock out Sung Woo Choi in the first round. But if it went the other way, wouldn't surprise me one single bit, dude. Because neither one of these fighters got the best chin in the world, but both fighters got power. But yeah, give me Steve Garcia, Mean Machine, to win this fight via first round knockout. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I think this one, as I said, should be low-key fight of the night. I mean, both fighters go in there and they go for it. I will say Steve Garcia in that fight against Mahashate, I mean, he literally just ran straight at Mahashate, hands down and all, and just took one of the just biggest counter right hands as he was just literally running in with hands down. And yeah, it was just like a game of chicken, and it was just bow, and nobody moved. And he got crushed with that right hand. But ever since then, as you said, he's been looking good, been looking like a bully. Sungwoo Choi, he goes in there, he goes to scrap. He's got a sharp left hand, as you said, that he dropped Mike Trizano with that double knockdown. He's a good striker himself, but he does get a little bit one-dimensional with the striking, where I think Steven Garcia, he can get a little bit more of that wild man style, but man, he's got some good boxing, got some good power, good body shots. And he's got sneaky wrestling as well. Like, not to say that he's the best wrestler, but he's got it in his back pocket just in case if he needs to use it. And I think that is something that if Sungwoo Choi maybe starts landing some shots early, Steve Garcia can take advantage of and maybe go to the wrestling. But I think he's going to be the quicker of the two, and he throws a lot of straight punches as well. And I'm with you here. I think Steve Garcia gets a knockout here, and what I think ends up being the fight of the night.
All right, fair enough. Me and D-Rose both on Mean Machine. Steve Garcia to win this fight via knockout. We'll move on to the co-main event. That is Brad Tavares taking on the Iron Turtle, Jung Young Park. So Brad Tavares, 20-9 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has won 2 and lost 3. A win over Omari Akhmedov, a loss to Dricus du Plessis, a loss to Bruno Silva, maybe a little bit early stoppage, but a win over Chris Weidman 10 months ago, and then got knocked out by Hobo Cop 5 months ago. On the other hand, the Iron Turtle, Jung Young Park, is 17-6 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has 4 wins and 1 loss. Only loss is to Andre Muniz via split decision. Could have gone either way. Submission over Albert Duraev, submission over Dennis Tululan, submission over Joseph Holmes, and a split decision win over Eric Anders. D-Rose, I don't think Brad Tavares has ever been submitted, so I don't know if the Iron Turtle can do that this weekend, but currently odds for this fight plus 134 for Brad Tavares and minus 172 for the Iron Turtle, Jung Young Park. Brad Tavares, 36 years old, 6'1" and a 74-inch reach, while the Iron Turtle is 33 years old, 5'10" and a 73-inch reach. Tough fight to call for me. This is one that I'm probably going to pick the over or the fight goes to decision. I really don't like to pick a fighter here because truly it could go either way. But just because of the wrestling, I know everyone's like, Brad Tavares got excellent takedown defense. Yeah, I know. But when he gets there, do I think the Turtle can hold him there? Probably. He's got pretty solid control. And if he takes the back, he's going to spend the rest of the round there. I'm not saying he's going to choke out Brad Tavares, but I think he can control him and hold him there. So with that being said, I guess give me the Iron Turtle to win this fight via decision. But if you want to be safe, just pick this fight to go to decision. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
I am with you. This is one that's tough to call. I know that I like Totos. I like Totos. This one, I know you're an Iron Turtle fan yourself. And he's a fun fighter. And I know that under Muniz loss, that was a little bit of a tough loss, but he fought a pretty good fight in that fight. He just ended up being just a little bit outside under Muniz, just being the bigger guy, being able to use his takedowns. Brad Tavares, though, he does, and I know what you're saying, but he does have really good takedown defense. So I do think the Iron Turtle is going to have a tough time actually getting takedowns. But where I think he kind of wins it, honestly, I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining fight. I think we're going to see a lot of clinch exchanges in this fight. And I think you're going to see a lot of clinching up against the fence, a lot of position fighting. I think Jung Young Park's going to be able to kind of maybe just add a little bit more volume compared to Brad Tavares, because Brad Tavares has got some nasty leg kicks. So Jung Young Park's definitely going to not be in kicking range to where Brad Tavares is going to be able to kick that leg out from under him. So, I think Iron Turtle gets a decision here.
All right, me and D-Rose both on the Iron Turtle, Jung Young Park, to win this fight via decision. So we'll move on to the main event for the title of who is the most handsome strawweight in the UFC between Amandina taking on Kakadai Verna Jandiroba. Yeah, here we go, dude. I cannot wait for this. You hear this excitement, dude? We've got Amanda Lemos, 14-3-1 overall. And out of her last 5 fights, she has won 3 and lost 2.
A loss to Jessica Andrade via standing arm triangle 2 years ago. A win over Michelle Watterson, guillotine choke. A nasty knockout over Marina Rodriguez, dude. She fucking smoked her like a piece of brisket, dude. She throwing hooks at her and knocked her out.
I will say a smidge early. That's not a smidge
early. Completely got smoked once again like a brisket against Magnum Zhang Wei Li, dude. Just completely shut out. Just wrestle fucked all 5 rounds, dude. No shot. And then a decision win over Mackenzie Dern. Really surprised me that she didn't knock out Mackenzie Dern, to be honest, because that was right after Jessica Andrade fight. On the other hand, Verna Jandiroba, she is the cockadie. 20-3 overall, dude. She's only losing against the best overall. Out of her last 5 fights, arm break over Kanaka Murata, lost to Amanda Ribas. Amanda Ribas, a really good fighter, especially down at 115. She did beat Angie Overkill Hill via decision. She did beat Marina Rodriguez via decision, and she did beat my girl, Lupe Godinez. I was live watching that live in Atlantic City 3 months and 1 week ago when she beat my girl, Lupe Godinez. I was yelling, "Go Lupe Godinez," during the fight, and she did not win, even though I personally thought she won. It wasn't even split, man. It wasn't even split decision. But yeah, currently odds for this fight, we got them now. Earlier in the week, fucking FanDuel had Amanda Lemos like fucking locked until last night. Amanda Lemos plus 112, the dog. Verna Jandiroba minus 142, your favorite. Amanda Lemos, 37 years old, 5'4", and a 65-inch reach. Very short reach. On the other hand, Verna Cockadeye Jandiroba, 36 years old, 5'3", and an even shorter reach at 64 inches. So Amanda Lemos, D-Rose, will be taller and have the longer reach. We don't ever see her have that. And when she does, it was against like Montserrat Conejo, where her topology picture was taken, where after she absolutely head kicked the fuck out of her. And just like you said, maybe just a smidge early. I will die on that shield that fight was stopped early because Montserrat Conejo was up and ready to go. But before Chris Tione was off the ground, but she did get head kicked though. So, So, man, this fight tough to call, man. Tough to call. But I could see this going either way. I could see Amanda Lemos treating Verna Jandiroba like, a salmon, a brisket. Just put her in the smoker, turn the pressure cooker up, and just absolutely blast her, dude. Because Verna can get hit, dude. And, if Amanda Lemos would just go straight down the middle, I believe there is an opportunity there. I'm not 100%, but I believe the opportunity is there. Her hooks might not work as good, and Amanda Lemos has crazy hooks, but Verna Jandiroba has this defense against hooks where she just sees them coming, no matter if it's left or right side. She's going to see that shit coming, and she's good at just getting out of the way. But the thing is, she gasses, dude. Verna Jandiroba gasses. I don't care what anyone says, dude. Midway through round two, she's kind of huffing and puffing, man. It's like, oh, dude, this could go either way. So my thing is Amanda Lemos is she good enough to stop 2 takedowns? Because if she stops 2 takedowns, I believe it'll deter Verna enough in the first round to maybe not try anymore in the first. And if this is strictly on the feet for 3 minutes, dude, you can't tell me Amanda Lemos isn't going to knock out Verna, dude. So I think I'm going to be on the dog this weekend, dude. Give me Amanda Lemos to knock out Verna Jandiroba, man. Which way you going here, man?
This one is this one, honestly, I will say this one has
we already have 5 different fights too, so no need to force a pick if you don't want to.
Yeah, well, no, this one has been the one that I've been going back and forth on the most this week. Just simply because, just the style matchups. It's a classic striker versus grappler matchup. And Lemos, I will say that in her last fight, she was even in a few positions where, she was in some bad spots against Mackenzie Dern on the ground and was still able to, kind of save herself and was still able to win that fight by decision. Now, the only thing with Lemos is her takedown defense is good, but once she gets taken down, that's where it really begins to, that's where, that's brutal. But no, man, I'm not gonna lie. I think I like Verna, man. I'm an Amanda Lemos fan. I love me some Amanda Lemos, dude. Her striking is absolutely brutal. Dude, I picked her in a lot of fights. But this is the exact style matchup that typically gives her a problem. Now, I will say, on the feet, it is not even close. If it comes down to just a striking battle, Amanda Lemos will put her out, no problem. But if it comes down to, Verna Jandiroba is able to get those takedowns, able to be relentless enough to get inside, I think she can. I don't think she's going to be able to submit Amanda Lemos. Amanda Lemos has shown good submission defense and stuff like that for the most part against Wei Lee and against Mackenzie Dern. But I do think that Verna does have the perfect style to beat Amanda Lemos. And Verna has never been finished in her career as well. Not submitted, nor has she been knocked out before. So, I think she's going to be hanging out by. That's rough. That's rough. Come on, man. Nah, we in here, baby. We in here. But I think I'll burn him, man. Burn him by decision here.
All right, we are split on this one as well. I am on Amanda Lemos, D-Rose on Verna Jandiroba. So, with that being said, D-Rose, we have 6 different fights. Thomas Peterson versus Mo Usman, where I am on Thomas Peterson. You are on Mo Usman. Luana Carolina versus Lucy Pudilova, where I am on Luana Carolina. You are on Lucy Pudilova. Louis Karazabal versus Trey Ogden, where I am on Louis Karazabal. You are on Trey Ogden. Hyder Emil versus Jiyoung Lee, where I am on Hyder Emil. You are on Jiyoung, the Korean Tiger Lee. Bill Algeo versus Doo-Ho Choi, where I am on Bill Algeo, and you are on Doo-Ho Choi. And the main event of Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba, where I am on Amanda Lemos, and you are on Verna Jandiroba. So, with that being said, we got to have 3 different picks for that shiny strap behind D-Rose for this upcoming weekend. And not only that, for the loser to eat the dreaded Bean Boozled, which I ate live on stream Saturday night. So don't want to do that again. That was disgusting. So with that being said, got to pick 3 fights here. The first one definitely going in it is the main event, Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba, just so it comes down to it, man. I like when it comes down to the main event. It's fun. So we're going to do this one.
Sure.
That
was scary. That's what I'm the least confident in.
Yeah, man. Of course. Of course. I guess the second one, I might as well pick the big favorite that I have in Senor Perfecto, Bill Algeo over Doo-Ho Choi, because I got the favorite in that, so why not? And then what else do we got here?
I think I know what you're going to go, but I'm curious to see what you do go.
Those are close. Oddly enough, I think I'm going to do something that makes no sense, and I'm going to go Luana Carolina versus Lucy Pudilova as the third one, man. So how do you like that? Are you confident at all? Because you shouldn't be, because I'm not confident. I picked the ones that I was like, man, I was like, man, which ones truly have the biggest unknown factor of could go either way? A women's fight is always could go either way. It doesn't matter what the odds are. So that one's one. The second one that I really like is Bill Algeo versus Doo-Ho Choi, simply because we all know Bill Algeo. Doo-Ho Choi didn't look the best in his last fight, and he's been gone for 4 years. So how is he going to look on his second fight back? Complete unknown. And the third one, as you said, striker versus grappler. On the feet, Not even close. But on the other hand, floor is lava for Amanda Lemos. So, yeah, those are our 3 different picks for this weekend. Amanda Lemos, Vernon Jandiroba. I am on Amanda Lemos. D Rose on Vernon Jandiroba. Senior Perfecto, Bill Algeo, taking on the Korean Superboy, Doo-Ho Choi, where I'm on Senior Perfecto, Bill Algeo, D Rose on Doo-Ho Choi. And our third and final, or our first one that we will be paying attention to, is Luana Carolina versus Lucy Pudilova, where I am on Luana Dread Carolina, D Rose on Lucy Pudilova, and Luana Carolina going to cause D Rose some dread on Saturday night. So, yeah. With that being said, sounds like a whole lot of Band-Aid for somebody. I don't know what that is.
Hell no, I ain't in a damn bandage. I'm telling you, man. We getting back into the swagger of our picks. And yeah, man, I like this. I'm not the most confident, but I think as long as Doo-Ho Choi, as long as he holds serve for me, yeah, man, I think those other 2 fights are complete coin flips. So,
and then the wild part is that's the one that's the biggest dog for you. You're like, let's go Doo-Ho Choi, and the other 2 are way closer odds than that one.
Yep. But hey, like I said, I think Doo-Ho Choi ends up hurting Bill Algeo. He might not knock him out, but yeah, I think he ends up hurting him. So yeah, I really do like Doo-Ho Choi in that fight.
He could, man. All right. So with that being said, you guys, that is going to be it for today's show. We appreciate you guys for stopping by, hanging out with us here tonight for this terrible card that is going to be happening at the Apex this weekend. If you're
putting me to sleep already just talking about it.
Yeah. If all right, back to more. Oh my goodness, Dave. Have a good night, Dave. You know,
Dave, don't forget Luana Santos. Don't forget Luana Santos. Live, laugh, love.
Just go ahead and throw the Jessica Andrade in your search there as well, Dave. That'll go ahead and just make your night. So, with that being said, D Rose, do you have anything to say before we get off for today's show, man? Or are you glad we got through this and we powered through this one? And are you going to have any bets this weekend?
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna wait a little bit. Wait till we get a little bit closer to the end of the week. Wait till some props open up. I do like the Trey Ogden, like Rodzabov. You know, maybe for that fight to start like round 3 or something like that. You know me, I'm always trying to find like those decision type props and stuff like that. So I'll find a couple of those this weekend and play. I don't have anything up top right now, but we'll definitely be making some plays by this weekend. And probably losing it all too, but
yeah, same. I want to try. You know, of course, I'm gonna do my 2 like change of cheddar parlays where try to turn like 5 into something like fucking big. But I don't. Aside from like those 2, I don't think I'm gonna try to parlay up any props this weekend. I think I'll do like a prop in like an over or like a prop in a money line. But when I start trying to put like multiple fights, exact outcomes, dude, it just ruins my parlays, and it kind of ruins my fucking mood for the night. I start trying to chase, and then I'm not winning anyway. So and
then it get even more pissed.
So this weekend I'm gonna try to be a little bit safer. It's a sketchy card anyway, so you know what? It is what it is. I'll have my 2 change of cheddar ones, but aside from that, I'm just gonna probably bet a little bit more than I would like to, but it's gonna be on just money line parlays, probably like 3 or 4 legs, some shit like that. Just shit that I'm really hoping that I can win. So with that being said, I will be here Friday night for Change of Cheddar, giving you those parlays that I just now talked about. And yeah, with that being said, I don't have anything else. D Rose, you good, man?
Yeah, I think that's good and good pod, and hopefully we can make some money this weekend on some of these trash ass fights.
Yeah, not going to be the best fights, but hey, let's go Miranda Maverick. Got to support Miranda Maverick. With that being said, my name is Matt. D Rose is on that side of your screen, and next week he'll be over there chewing on some booger and Band-Aid beans. With that being said, we will catch you guys right back here live next week at 8:30 p.m. East Coast time. Yeah, with that being said, we're going to get out of here. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.